Hey everybody, this is the next video for my summer season 2018. For the pepper lovers, I'm going to have a separate video series for vegetables overall. You can check my other videos out. I have a playlist for growing vegetables 2018 as well. This is pepper specifically. So this is upstairs. This is one day after my garage film, which appears later in this video. So when you see that later, just know that that was filmed first, and this was filmed the day after. So these are all the younger plants that I'm not setting out just yet, but some clones as well. My Black Habanero from Refining Fire Chilies. These are the new sprouts here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. This is a super hot, this one and this one. I don't know if they're BBG7 and Bootla Cross, or if they're Apocalypse Scorpion, or if they're the Bootla BBG7 chocolate. Of the three, they're going to be one of the three. So either way, the flavor is going to be good. They're going to be really, really hot. These are all my Numex Twilight. They're going to be my front border. I plant like 12 of them out in the front. Just be a pretty border that I can use and make powder out of them or something like that. My Scotch Brains, Scotch Bonnet Brain Strain. See a lot of 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 branches growing on that one. So topping on that's done. These two here are my Daddle. Real dark leaves, growing really slow. I don't know why they're growing so slow. This is probably okay, this is Apocalypse Scorpion for sure. Fish, Daddle. This is my VTR clone. The leaves look a little better since I gave it direct sunlight, because that's for my overwinter, and my overwinter also that you saw in the, or you will see later on. Haven't filmed it yet. The leaves are horrible. They're barely getting better now because I'm giving it sunlight every day. I take it outside for 6 to 8 hours a day. Then I take it back in under my T5s in the garage. So you'll see that outside, not in the garage anymore. Got a lot of tomatoes outside and whatnot. Pomelo, citrus. I just planted 6 of those. Just planted 6 starfruit from seed from the grocery store I got. And then companion planting lemon balm. I just planted 6 of those today, or I'm sorry, 12 from the cup. I transplanted them under the cup. They were here forever, right there, but I moved them into a cup. So now all my lemon balm have their own homes, and I had 3 extras, so I put them there. So 15 lemon balm. Hyssop, I'm trying this again. They didn't sprout at first, but hopefully they sprout here. I'm doing a bottom water method. If you can see the water down there. Just shook it for you. And then these are all sunflowers. These 3. Again, more companion planting, bringing beneficials in. These are Titan sunflowers. This one here is my chocolate habanero. I topped it. It had severe drought because this thing dried up. So I took all the worst leaves off, which I didn't want to do. I would rather, after I topped it, take these top leaves off. And the reason I take the top off is so that the light can penetrate down to these node points and stimulate hormone production to branch out new branches. But because of the heat stress, I had to take off some of the real bad leaves here, and then I topped it. So as these start to grow, I'll clip these 2 off here as these start to grow. So this is my chocolate habanero. Got more chocolate, or I'm sorry, not chocolate habanero, black habanero. Not to be confused with chocolate habanero. This black habanero is it's a cross of I believe a black hob and black hob with something that starts with a C. I can't remember. You can look it up on Refining Fire Chilies though. Look up black habanero. These are more, and then here is a true BBG7 red, recently topped. This is my clone Bohemian goat clone from the mother plant. Got a lot of these already planted out in the garden, which you will see later in the video. We had 2 weeks in the 50s at night, so I thought it would be a good time to plant out. Fatality Gourmet Jigsaw here. Another Fatality Gourmet Jigsaw here. Looking nice. Okay, so that's upstairs. I have a few more baby bird's eye of my own seed saving from last season. I got a couple pasilla chilies, pasilla bajo there, along with more of my black hob. Those 3 are Black Habaneros, and then these 2 are more pasilla, and then this is Thai basil, more companion planting, sweet basil, Numex Twilight that don't look too good. Actually, all the small ones in this don't look too good, so I think I might have mixed something wrong. This is my baby bird's eye I saved from seed. It's another baby bird's eye. Until those leaves, these are going to be bonsais. This one looks okay, kind of, but I'm going to change the water out again. They're not dead, so I'll just change the water out again and they'll bounce back. So you can see again, I haven't topped this yet, and under this this light, we already have branching. See that? No need to top, really. I still do, but no need to really top. It's giving me an add water, and the water level is filled. See all the roots in there? Let me see if I can shake it for you so you can see the level. So it's time to fill this again. I got a second one that I also have to fill. It's a little less empty than the first you just saw. So I'll fill those today. This is my red Reuben basil that died. I think I gave it too much newt, because I tried to dilute some newt that I had for some stronger stuff or more mature plants, and I don't think I diluted it enough, and they all burned, except for this, the largest one at the time, and it's still alive, so barely. Okay, these 2 are super hots. Again, one of the 3 that I mentioned earlier. I don't know which one they are, so we'll see when the fruits ripen. So far, I like these. I did promise you, let me grab it, that I would have this up and running by now, and I don't have it up and running. It's up and tested. It works 100%. Really what I'm waiting on is those Twilight Numex to, the roots to get at least this long. Let's see if I can put it next to some, about as tall as a cup, basically. Once they're that long, they'll reach down to here where the water is, and they can touch the water and drink up. I have a timer that's split to where it can be like 15 minutes, 2 minutes on, 15 minutes later, another 2 minutes on, 15 minutes later, another 2 minutes on, throughout the day, the whole day and night. 880 gallon pump. I dropped some soil, I gotta clean it out. 880 gallon pump per minute, I got off Amazon. There's a adapter, plugs up through the pipe. So some of these are different. So some of these are like 90 degree, 180 degree, 360 degree here. So there's different colors for whatever I'm using it. And I had these pipes laying around, so I just used these. I just had to buy these and the elbows, and then I had to buy the adapter. I had this already here too. None of this is glued. It's just all just because it fits really, really tight. It took me a while to build it. But I have a second one of these now. Right here. I'm going to probably set it up a little bit differently. So this first one has 21 holes. This second one might have, I don't know, maybe 18. 3-inch instead of the 2-inch. I don't know what I'm going to do. I might just do 2. The only thing about the 2-inch is that the holes in these net cups are real small. So if you grow something in here and the plants are maybe this tall, then The roots might not easily come out of these little cracks. So I want to get a net cup as small as I can, but with the cracks being as farly spaced as possible, so that when I need to slide a plant out, the roots will just come right out. So this, along with that, will be, and in the window, at least until the sun comes up, because in Arizona it comes up, and then the peak of summer comes barely past straight up, just barely past to the north. But until that happens in July, when the sun still shines in this window enough to cover that table, that light and window combination with this is going to be superior to this. So the explosive growth that you're seeing here is going to be more. Look at that, it's already branching out. Look at those nodes, not even topped yet. Okay, so everything up here, I'm also giving 2 teaspoons per gallon General Hydroponics Flora series. On everything down here, I would say right now it's a half a teaspoon per gallon General Hydroponics Flora series. I'm going to mix up a batch today, dump at least this one out because these all look really, really good. Dump that one out and replenish it. Do a pH test on the water, tap water, or you could go purified. I'm just going to use tap. And then half a teaspoon per gallon, mix it up, put it in, and call it a day. And then whatever water's here, I'll probably throw it out. So the next video, you'll see this one in operation in the window when I get all those cleared out. I did decom this light, so that's done. Energy bill's down, 200 watt load is down off of our energy bill now. That's cleaned out. So the next video, you'll see this fully occupied with a lot of those Twilight Numex, maybe some of the Black Hab in there, and whatever else. And if you guys are in the Phoenix area, I'm going to be selling a lot of these plants because I have way too many. I mean, I can't use. You've seen my earlier videos, and then these are just new on top of everything. I can't use all the other plants and all these plants and all these seedlings and these. And those, like, I can't use them all. I don't have room. I have 6 raised beds, basically a raised bed, 6 of them, and I don't have enough space. So I'm gonna be selling some of these. So watch out for maybe a link or two, maybe in the next video. If you guys are again in the Phoenix area, you can come by pick some up, man. They'll be. You'll probably get seedlings somewhere like this. Brazilian starfish. Forgot about that one. Varieties that you're not going to find. You're not really going to find them. I mean, I haven't, at least. I mean, I see some cool varieties, but not these. That's for sure. So stay tuned, and then before this video is over, I will show you outside. So you'll see the garden. Okay? All right, here we go. We see... here we are outside, and this is a new compost pile that I'm starting from scratch with a lot of my winter crop that we didn't need because there's way too many leaves, along with some leaves from the tree just above it. Semi-deciduous, so it falls year-round, mostly in November, December, but November, December is the most, but all year round it falls. This is the remnants of my compost pile here. Again, Dutch Brother coffee, as in my previous videos, along with leaves from the church that I had the landscapers bring over and dump right there. So the only thing I had to do was push it from there to there, and I got all that free soil. It's not finished compost yet, so what it looks like now is, on the inside, is this. So perfect mulch, composted mulch. So not really composted, soil, but at that point it's not composted enough to be soil or compost, but it's basically mulch. Or if you're talking wood chips, you probably heard about composted mulch. I'm thinking this is the same thing except leaves. Tons of microorganisms in this stuff, so I put it over the soil and my fertilizer in my plants that I use, the 4 parts, the fish meal, fish bone meal, kelp meal, and the 4th being Epsom salt for magnesium and sulfate. those 4 parts, I plant my plant down. I put this over the top with all those organisms in there, and then insulation for the heat and cold in there as well. Food for worms. They come up and eat the leaves that are already half broken down for the worms, which is perfect, along with coffee grounds, what worms also love, which would invite them to like grow in numbers readily, which is what I want. And then I water all that in when I transplant my plants, and then some of that bioactivity gets watered down into the fertilizer, and they start working on that and cycling those nutrients from my plant roots. I have enough to compost. Literally, I didn't think I would have this, but enough to compost all my 6 beds this year. Okay, so let me show you just a transplant, just a simple transplant, and then I'll show you the garden. All right, so this is the setup in case I got to remove any winter leaf crop from the soil. I leave the roots in there to break down, and as the surrounding fungus and bacteria encounter those dead or dying roots, they'll eat it, creating new channels for water and nutrients, and actually new channels for the fungus to fill, and that filled tube becomes water and nutrient channels for any adjacent plant roots that I don't kill off, mainly the new peppers that I'm planting, which is why I don't pull the roots out or disturb the soil. You don't want to ever disturb your soil if you can. You always want to put mulch on top, compost on top, mulch on top, wood chips on top to break down and further build your soil from the top. Here I didn't mix in at first because I'm working with that stuff in the beginning. It'd be really hard to grow anything in that. It's really. Here, let me show you. I don't know if a lot of you guys that aren't from Arizona. This is a sharp stick here. See? That's about as far as it goes down. So imagine a soft, tender root of a plant trying to cut through this stuff. It is really hard, and it's really tight, and it strangles what roots can come through here. So not everything can live here. Even our citrus trees need special rootstock just to grow in our soil, because it's hard, it's compact, it's alkaline, and it's high in salt, and it's low in organic nutrients. So a lot of the worst things you can imagine, but it does have a lot of minerals, which is good. It has a lot of minerals, which is good. So, and it is clay, so it has a really good water holding capacity and nutrient holding capacity also. Don't mind my winter crop. So I actually have a few peppers out here so far. This is a Aleppo, another Aleppo. I don't know what these are. I have the tags here. These two. This one is MA Vortex, and this one is, that's starfish, Brazilian starfish. So about a 1.5 foot apart. Thinking about planting this one from these two right there. So let me get my hole dug. Give me just a sec. All right, here's my hole. Here's the plant in there, and that's what it looks like at the soil level. So right down to the V, and it's going to be mulched all the way up to here. Okay. Pull this out. So when you see my plants in the ground, you're like, oh, they're kind of small. But it's gonna basically, this right here, from this part, right on top of the soil, 2 inches, there's already like 5, 8 branches basically. So it's just gonna become a real wide bush. Hopefully not much taller than around 2 feet. Just create a big canopy. Maybe I should space them out a little farther apart, but in Arizona, the summer sun hits pretty quick in May, June. And then on top of that, after my first season, I'm going to prune these back anyways to promote a second crop after the summer. So I'll prune them back a little bit to make a little bit of a air gap or light gap in between. So I might put an understory of something like melon. I don't know. I might have an understory of something. So I'll have the mulch, insulation, hopefully an understory, and then an overstory. So a complete ecosystem here. Okay, so let's fill the hole. This is the 4-part mix. Might be a little much for this one plant. Let me just put most of it in there and save the rest. So get all this mixed in. See the roots? I'm just gonna leave those roots because they have I gotta put the phone down. Give me a sec to get this out of the pot. Alright, so root ball's broken apart. Okay. And this is what I'm gonna plant. Nice and established root system. There is a flower there. I pulled off most of the ones on the top already, except for the smaller ones because I don't want to screw up the growth tips. But I'm going to plant this in. Good. And then orientate it. It looks pretty even no matter where I look on the top. Sometimes if there's a branch growing this way and I want to fill in a gap, I'll plant it that way or a different way depending on how I want the canopy to fill. So, but in this situation it looks fine. Put my soil back in. Give it a good shake. Up and down, maybe a 1/4 inch to settle some of the soil around the cracks. Okay. So that was the fertilizer. And you know what I could do is I could even put some of that remaining just around. There. Scratch it in just a little. These onions never headed for me, so pull those out and mulch around. So what I'm doing is each plant that I put down, I put mulch around. So once I'm done planting everything, there'll be mulch around the whole bed. And all the bacteria and fungus and this leaf mold. Basically, I was starting at leaf mold at first and then got my hands on a bunch of grounds. So 2 big bags worth from Starbucks. You see in earlier videos. So I converted it again from leaf mold back into a hot compost California method, turning every 3 days to 4 days. Water all those bacteria down. Okay, put all my stuff back. Get your pots when you're doing this with 50 or so peppers, because then you'll be left with cups all over your yard and you won't have time to pick them up with the kids and it'll be there for a week. Alright, so that's that. I'm gonna put these down here for now and I'll show you guys the rest of the garden. Okay, give me a sec. Alright, so here is a bed. Peppers and ground cherries I'll show you soon. Companion planting every 8 inches or so. Flowers. There. I don't know what this is. It does look like a sunflower though. I'm going to leave it for now. That already looks like mulch there. I know. But if you dig into it, like 2 inches, you see this. This was leaves and coffee. Free leaves that people threw away in coffee grounds that the coffee shops threw away maybe 5 months ago. Month and a half, 2 months ago, I put it in this bed. Let it sit. Watered it once a week, once every 3 days to a week. And now I'm planting in it. So we have what looks like mulch, and then on top of that, an even deeper mulch. About 2 inches deep. Okay, so this is, where's the label? This looks like a kabaka. This is a kabaka. I gotta label that. MA Vortex. Sugar Rush Peach. Again, they're early producers, one of the earliest ones I've seen. So there's tons of fruit back there. I can't get a good picture of them, but there's 3. All of them are like that. This one is I believe this one is a ahi mango. I'm almost positive this is an ahi mango, or else it'd have fruit on it. That's an ahi mango there. And then 2 ground cherries. And then if you look underneath the leaves, some of them busted apart because I was moving them every day and then outside. So a few of the fruit are not going to have their little protective casing. So once they drop, the protective casing keeps them, extends the shelf life, and I'm not going to have that with a couple of the fruit. And these might be a little too close too. This is what they look like now. So that whole canopy is going to fill in, and I'm going to put flowers and stuff down in between the gaps from all the stuff you saw upstairs. Okay, so this is one bed. This bed I built lasagna style / Hugelkultur style, because under this cardboard, again, in my last video I said that there was a lot of twigs, a lot of leaves, and coffee grounds underneath that. And then on top, there's more leaves, and then on top, and coffee grounds. And on top of that, there was maybe this much of the stuff that I was composting. Okay, let me show you some of my remaining beds. Give me a sec. All right, so this is the bed. I'm going to have all of the Twilight Numex peppers. They're going to just go straight across. Okay, and then behind those, I might put a taller flower, hopefully maybe the hyssop, Korean hyssop, because those get really tall, behind the Twilight Numex peppers, and just cut this bush back another foot, or I don't know, something like that, to give room for both species. The understory will be the purple flesh sweet potatoes. Here I have free leaves. I did a coffee ground over the whole thing. You can't see other than here. Coffee grounds. But I put coffee grounds over the whole thing. I might have a whole bunch of lemon drop peppers coming up. Yeah, maybe too many, because that was a plant that I overwintered, and that's the remnants of it. I had to cut it off with a lot of fruit on it. Slow to get started, but once it got started, it really got started. So if you do lemon drops, start them early, and you'll have, by the 4th, 5th month, they'll be heavy producers for you. So this mulch layer is about 3 inches deep. I did amend previous 2 seasons before this with compost within this. So this isn't as hard packed as normal Arizona soil. And I don't think anything over here. I think the people that came before me put sand in this. And I think it's gypsum lime that does the same thing as far as loosening it up through chemical processes of binding the clay particles together into larger particles. Maybe. My Bolivian rainbow is probably going to sit on that corner. And then everything else is going to be Twilight Numex. 1 Bolivian rainbow sprout out of all of the seeds I got. This is one of the winter vegetables, being a collard, roughwood. Rarities.com quit selling them because they weren't stable. It was F1. 2 sunflowers, Titan. Okay, and then I was thinking about maybe making a bed here out of that last log. I gotta compost more stuff, and falls over, so it'll be next year. So we'll have a bed here. I might widen a little bit more, or maybe not, maybe just raise, and then this will be probably this deep on one side, coming here to about 1 foot deep here. So border plants that are taller will be back, and then the smaller plants will be up closer. That's what I'm gonna do with that space. I got a lot of winter vegetables still, but I did plant out some pepper plants, and this one is also not labeled. It's doing so much, I didn't label everything. Anyway, it goes. I mean, it looks nice and snug there. It gets some sunlight. It's raining this next 3 days, but the sun comes up here right now. So all that, it'll get flowering. There, another, you guys can guess what this one is here. You guys can probably guess what this one is here. Look at that. On such a small plant. These are going to be ridiculous producers. I have like 4 or 5 of these planted out. So Sugar Rush Peach will be no problem for me at all this year. I think that's all the peppers. I'm going to leave these Lincoln peas to trellis up. I want to leave everything. This is another bed I did with the same type of leaves I composted, except instead of doing a lasagna or Hugelkultur method, there's no logs under this. Only thing that I did was tilled it into the soil. The same kind of crumbly soil like that, a little bit better than normal clay, was here too. So I was at the starting point was a little better, and I probably put maybe 60%, 70% compost and 30-40% native soil in this bed, down about a foot. So that soil depth is a foot. Then I came, it wasn't a foot at first, it was 10 inches. Then I came over with 3 inches of compost fresh, like maybe 4 months later. And then I came up with another like 3 or 4 inches of compost, another like 4 to 6 months later. And then now that new pile of compost, I'm going to be composting everything on top of that. So it'll be another 3 inches on top. You can see those fruit there. Let me show you 2 of my other beds. Give me a sec. This is another Hugelkultur / lasagna method that I did with twigs on the bottom, vegetable pulp from my juicer, about 5 big bags full. So imagine a grocery store size bag, but 5 of those full with carrot pulp. And then I mix that with leaves, the bottom 6 inches with the twigs on the bottom of that. And then I put about this much of earthworms with the compost that they made. So a ton of earthworms in this on top of that. And then a little bit of native soil, about a 1/2 inch on top of that. So I got a couple Kabaka Roxa plants started. Basil, companion planting, that's lemon basil. A ground cherry in the middle. This is a ahi mango and a big caramel mama. Right there, so that's my big caramel mama. So these plants were in the cups way taller, but again, I'm burying everything down, so they might not look as big, but you can tell they're already pretty robust to be starting my season outdoors in early February, not quite mid-February yet, not for a couple days, still early February, and I still have all this out, so not too bad so far. Let me show you 2 more beds. This is my true Hugelkultur bed that I discussed. I have a video on making this as well, and it's going to be a part of a 3-part series. I'm going to probably do the second part, which would be planting and making sure everything stays alive. Do the second part, maybe another week or 2. Right now, the winter sun is not coming over these enough to light the back end, so I'm not doing that yet. That's basically an entire another 3x10. And this is 3x10, 10 feet long, planted out so far. So I got some borage, companion planting, ground cherry. This is a Kabaka. Oh, nope, CGN 21500, I'm sorry. Nasturtium, zinnia, 4 more beneficial flowers. That's actually 2 flowers in one. This is a eggplant, which is Casper, the white eggplant. Tomatillo, one of my most healthiest ones. Another tomatillo. And lemon drop pepper, my overwinter. And you can tell it's been getting real sun because in the garage it wasn't looking this nice. This will pop up past the canopy. That's a sunflower, beneficial, attracting. I have 2 fish peppers that are buried down pretty good, and that'll be like this whole, we're gonna like come all the way out and like basically cover this whole thing with their goodness. This is a Freeport Scotch bonnet Freeport orange, and there's a chili on it. You can see the lobes on that baby. This is, I believe, another one. I didn't label these 2. Luckily for me though, I'll just know what they are when they pop out. So I believe this is another Scotch bonnet Freeport. I was trying to label them all, but with the kids, the two little twins, those are the ones that kicked over my cups. Little devils. She's in the garden. And she, look at her, she eats the leaves. Nala eats the leaves right out of the garden. That's what you want your kids to do. Eat that instead of candy. That's awesome. They say your vegetables lose 50% of their nutrition within like 2 days of picking. So fresh picked out of the garden is the way to go. All my trees, I'm not going to discuss that in this video, but this is a acerola cherry, Barbados cherry bush. I got 3 of them. Okay, this is Brazilian starfish, ahi mango. This is all heavily mulched. See, the quality of my leaf mulch isn't just crappy leaves. They're actually half composted leaves. Bohemian goat clone. This one here is my, you can tell what that one is there. Another Aleppo tucked in. DTR scorpion clone. Kabaka roxa. I don't know, there's no label. And this one is my Freeport Scotch bonnet orange that you saw in the garage. And another MA Vortex. I just topped that part there. It's branching again. Goes there. More growth tips everywhere. So it's gonna do really well. I'll do more, I'll fill in more. I got more, all my tomatoes I still have to bring out side and, or our plant. My wife's, this is a mini, like a paprika, but it's not pronounced paprika, it's mini something with a P. I've been holding those for her, she has 2 of those. This is some of the last of the peppers here, so my Bohemian goat that you saw inside that looks so bad now, if you look at the leaves, they look a lot better now that they're getting sun. My scorpion, my BTR Reaper, some of the leaves are greening up, as you can see there. It was completely yellow at one point, and now it's starting to come back. This is my habanero red, just normal habanero. I might kill it off, I don't know, I don't have a lot of room. One of my tomatoes is doing okay. Complete hydroponics. I'm getting ready to bring it outside for good. Companion planting lemon basil, and that's one of the Twilight New Mex chilies right there. Some more companion planting flowers I haven't put out yet. Barrage, nasturtium, some other flowers, some sunflowers in the middle. There's 2 tall ones. And the rest of my wife's other pepper plant here. And we have pecan, I believe. That's what this one is. Got gifted these 2. I'll find a home for these somewhere. I don't know where, but so basically this season, what I'm doing is I'm trying to get a good foundation of peppers. So I'm growing some of the best ones that I researched that have the best reviews. Produce the most peppers. It's not too much good having a really good flavored pepper, but only 5 peppers on the plant, or the whole season you only harvest 10 chilies off of 1 plant. That's not a lot, you know. So I'm trying to look for the best tasting, even some of the hottest chilies, so that I can have a good foundation, because I'm gonna be doing a lot of crossing this season. So if you continue to watch my channel, you'll see a lot of crosses coming around, and growing those out successes in the following years, and getting them more stable, and maybe even selling them, some of them. But I'm going to start with really good genetics to begin with. So Scotch bonnet Freeport, Apocalypse Scorpion, Hugelkultur Negro, which I don't have here, but I will have those. The Pasilla Baggio that you saw upstairs, those. Aleppo peppers, just to name a few of them. Sugar Rush Peach that I'll be crossing with other peppers, and I'm gonna have next year. Anything will be overwinters, and everything new will be my own seeds from crosses. Basically, is the way I want to have it work out. So, I did trade seeds, so that's gonna be the last thing I'm gonna discuss right now. Just give me a sec. Let me go get the seeds. All right, so I traded some seeds with Michael from Golden Harvest Farming. You can check out his YouTube channel as well if you'd like. But some Red Savania, SRTSL. That's a long gene with the Bubblegum 7 cross. The long, I believe that's Trinidad Scorpion long. And BTR, basically a Reaper Scorpion. So he traded me those. I traded him some, I think I had 5 different types of seeds I had. One of which was Apocalypse Scorpion, and one was Aleppo Pepper, and I believe some Twilight Numex, and a few other types as well. So he wanted me to read this out. So, hello Benny, it was absolutely fun talking to you. I loved it. I warn you, these varieties are definite tongue scorchers. Please have fun growing these. I will look forward to seeing your results when harvest time arrives. Good luck, happy growing, have a golden harvest. So from Golden Harvest Farming. So this is some of the warnings, as all of us pepperheads have seen many times over again. I'm gonna definitely grow these out, habanero variety that I've seen before. Last year I planted this in, just to let you know, Michael, last year I planted this in Sing Farms compost that I mentioned earlier, and they died. So I get a second chance at these. Bubble gum with scorpion, the long scorpion, elongated scorpion. Let me see, elongated scorpion with bubblegum cross will also be fun. So I'll grow those out. On your video, Michael, just discuss the ones that I sent you in the mail. I think there were 5 varieties. Oh, really good hand-picked varieties that I sent you that you would like. One of which being ornamental. Actually 2. I believe I gave you some of these. Baby bird's eye. Light. Leaves stay real small. Really good for bonsai, and really good to cross with other peppers. They have like a little Reaper that's like this big. Be pretty cool. So that's it, man. If you guys have any questions or comments, definitely hit me up on YouTube. I would like to keep all the questions and comments on YouTube so that they stay with each video. Just to let everyone know. That way, for the rest of history or however long YouTube keeps my videos up, people can rely on looking at the comments and looking at and watching the video to learn to grow peppers. And if you watch all my channel, to build Hugelkultur beds and to do the California method composting and to do lasagna gardening and to build beds and to mulch and create your own composted mulch and to fertilize with renewable resources and to do all kind of cool things other than just peppers. So definitely let me know if you guys have any questions or comments, and we'll go from there. Otherwise, thanks a lot for watching.